Hello, my friends. Welcome. This is Heather. This is the Back to Me podcast. And this week we are talking with Alice Langholt, and such an interesting conversation. We're talking about 30 seconds, how you can do self-care in 30 seconds a day. So even if you're busy, there's no excuse not to do something to help you be your best. And we got into a conversation about how when you can shift your energy and be your best, it actually ripples out into everywhere. Such a great conversation. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you're doing, and have a great day. Talk to you soon. Hi, my friends. Welcome. This is the Back to Me podcast, and this is Heather, and I am super excited that you're here. You are going to hear some tips and some tricks and some ideas to help you live your happiest and healthiest self. I call it Back to Me because when you are taking care of yourself, back to me, then you can take better care of others, and we can all make the world a better place. This is Wellness Your Way, and I am super happy that you're here. Hello, my friend. How are you? I hope you're having an excellent day. This is Heather. This is the Back to Me podcast awesome celebrity human day. And this is a day where I get to talk to somebody super cool and learn some new things and share some things with you that I think you'll find interesting too. And today I'm talking to Alice Langholt. Hi, Alice.
Hi, Heather. So glad to be back on your show.
Yeah, so glad you're here. And first, can you tell people a little bit, because I like people to explain in their own words kind of their realm of awesomeness.
Sure.
You're like, oh my gosh, what?
Realm of awesomeness. I love that. Sorry, my cat is already trying to be distracting. Okay. What I do, I think that an interesting focus that is developed throughout my career is helping busy people find the means and the time to access their powers for healing and intuition and well-being. And when I say busy people, I try to think about the busiest person, because I'm a very busy person myself, and I know that would appeal to me. So we're talking about 5 minutes a day or 30 seconds a day or something like that could actually make a difference. So I've focused a lot of thought on building concepts and products and courses for the busy person to still be able to balance and center themselves, because they need it the most.
Right. And those are the people who need it the most and do it the least. Right. And I'm always curious. So what drew you into this kind of place that you are now? Like, was it you trying to find solutions for yourself, or how did you get here?
Yeah, I mean, everything that I've pretty much done has been because I myself need or wanted it. And so that is the catalyst, I guess. But I learned Reiki, and that changed my whole perspective on reality and
right.
in a really good way. And it was like, oh, there is something more than just a body and the physical aspects of the life that we all lead. There is something more here, and there is a way of experiencing that we're all connected and can help each other and make a difference. And that was huge for me and led to basically 2 decades of learning and exploring and experimenting. But then, of course, there's the regular life with work and children and what seems to be a huge household of pets all of a sudden here in my house. But many, many obligations, and also several jobs that I've gotten myself involved in the nicest of ways. Things that I love to do have all become my job in one way or another. Like, I'm a wedding officiant.
Wow.
And so I officiate lots of weddings. I just recently started also offering funerals, and suddenly I've done 4,
Wow.
And so besides that, writing books, running my online school, I'm a busy person. And I started thinking, God, what is just the easiest way to do this? And as I started exploring that, I looked at what's the most important stuff involved in this, whatever it is, whether it's manifesting or distance healing or Reiki itself, or just balancing body, mind, spirit, and emotions, meditation. I'm like, what is the easiest way? What are the most essential things? And what do you not need? And I started like separating those out, picking the essentials and saying, what's the fastest way, the most efficient way I can do this? And writing it out. And so these became courses and they became books and programs. And that's how it all sort of started.
That's so interesting that we're trying to fast track. We're like, let's just get to the end. And in some ways that appeals to me. And in some ways I feel almost, and I don't know if anybody's ever said this, like some days I feel like, oh, wait, but we're not supposed to be in a rush because we're just rushing to the end of the finish line.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not the only way.
Right?
It's just a good fallback. It's like
Right.
if you're not on vacation in Mexico,
On a retreat.
exactly, with the entire week ahead of you, if you're not, on a retreat, exactly. If you don't have an hour today to take a long, lovely walk in the woods, well, that doesn't mean you say, oh, well, no self-care today.
Right.
Here's some way that you can still do that and have some benefit.
Right? No, that makes sense because you do have those days where with the best of intentions you get to the end of the day and you think, "Oh well, I didn't make it onto the to-do list today."
Yeah.
Right? Which
Yeah.
I always encourage people that's their to-do list is upside down. But you know what I mean? It's like you should be at the top. But there is life and apparently many pets. So and so you're the self-care in 30 seconds a day. I thought that was a fascinating concept. And are you using Reiki with that one or?
Nope.
Oh,
No, because I know that not everyone has Reiki.
true.
And ideally it would be nice if everyone did, but they don't. And I'm not trying to teach someone to do Reiki and then give themselves Reiki for 30 seconds.
Right.
I actually don't think that 30 seconds of Reiki is a very effective way to use Reiki.
Right. I agree.
But
Yeah.
but there are lots of things that you can do in 30 seconds that will make a difference, and not only to your body, mind, spirit, and emotions, which is plenty, but also in your relationships and in your work and in your goals for success. And so this concept of the 30 seconds started when I was going to be leading a retreat for caregivers. And I wanted to give them a gift, something, the participants, something that they could take home with them that would help them have continued benefit. And I thought, well, maybe I can come up with a few things that you can do in a really short amount of time. What's the shortest amount of time that a person might be able to do something? And then I thought, well, okay, what could I do in 30 seconds that would make a difference? And so I thought, well, let me make a list. And I sat down and in about an hour or less than an hour, probably, I came up with 36.
Wow.
I thought, oh, that's pretty good. So I made a deck of cards, a little deck of cards. Excuse this.
Kitten.
A little deck of cards for self-care. And I thought, well, this is nice. And then I got home from the retreat and I thought, I could expand on this. So I spent the next couple of months going up to 365 and I made a calendar.
Oh my gosh.
And I chose, content from all different places, from yoga, from mindful breathing. The one page has like a finger labyrinth, which
cool.
is really fun. There's affirmations. There's stand in a superhero pose, which has actually been shown through brain-based research to have an effect on your own sense of confidence. Just goals for the day. Just for today, I'm going to smile at 5 people first. I'm going to say hello to 5 people today. Something like that just help. It's in the background of your day, that it's a goal that it's going to make your day better. So, and there's content from on special days, like the Valentine's Day, focuses on self-love and then shining it out. Certain ways of just taking the concept of the holiday and making it something you can do for self-care in a way. So I made a calendar called the A Moment for Me self-care calendar. And it has 300 and, it's one of those tear off, but you don't have to tear it off because it's perpetual,
Oh,
because
cool.
I wasn't going to write one every year. That's a lot of work.
Yes.
So it doesn't have the day of the week, which is great, which means you can reuse it every year. So I did that. And then I started thinking about different populations, and I was like, who else could use this in a more specific way? So I thought, well, moms, because, we have moms, especially have little kids, but are very busy people. And and we tend to be very hard on ourselves and tend to lose track of the joys of the motherhood experience while we're in the midst of it, in the muck and, in the
Right.
weeds.
Right.
I apologize for cat sounds.
That's all right. I like cats.
My son brought home that little kitten last Saturday, and suddenly we're very busy taking care of a little kitten, and my other two cats are very busy trying to be mad about the fact that there's a little kitten. So that's
It's real life.
Yes, thank you for understanding. So moms being one. So I wrote a book called A Moment for Mom, and it has 101 ways for moms to balance body, mind, spirit, and emotions in 30 seconds. And it's all very motherhood centered,
Right.
but yet a lot of the same things about, just coming back to gratitude and for yourself and the work you're doing and what you've done, what your body has done, and what and for all of, and special traits that your child has, and for the fact that you can do all of these hard things. I mean, there's a lot of like mind changing things, refocusing that happens in there, plus affirmations, goals of the day, and a little bit of writing, real easy stuff. So then I thought, well, who else needs this, right? So I thought, well,
Right.
couples need this to reconnect, because what if you could reconnect with somebody that is your spouse, and you just are like ships in the night, but in 30 seconds a day you could do something that matters. So I wrote this book, A Moment for Us,
Oh,
Care for
nice.
Busy Couples, and it has 101 free ways for couples to enjoy more love, caring, and togetherness in 30 seconds. So on every page is something that you can do. Sometimes there's a conversation starter, something to talk about that you maybe never talked about before. Sometimes there's a goal for the day, or a communication booster, sending a love text out of the blue, surprising things, and just a lot of different things. That everything in here doesn't take long, but can really make a difference. Looking in each other's eyes for 30 seconds. That's one.
Right.
You'd be
And
surprised.
and small things, it's like they sound small and insignificant, but every day if you do something, the accumulation of that is so massive,
That is the point.
right?
Yeah. So I also wrote A Moment for Success, which is for people in the corporate world, people that want to get ahead, want to find more productivity and creativity and confidence in their day. So there's 101 things in that one. Of course, they're all 101. I don't know. I thought more than 100, 101.
101.
And I also wrote this book called A Moment for Teachers,
Wow.
which is for busy teachers. And this one is actually the most popular one, because I think some of the stores for teachers have picked it up along the way. And so this has 101 ways for teachers to become more inspired, peaceful, and confident in 30 seconds. And they can use this with their students or on their own. There's a lot of things in here that help with the collaboration and the cooperation of your community in your classroom. And because this one did so well, I wrote a sequel to it called Another Moment for Teachers, and it has 101 more ways for teachers to become confident and inspired and peaceful in the classroom. And so those are pretty popular books of
Well,
the
I
most.
like that you've like, so we have the general for everybody, and then you're like, but if you need something specific, and teachers, oh my goodness, they've been having quite a time the last little while,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
I could see why that book would be very popular, that they needed a moment to come back to themselves.
Yeah. And it makes a great gift for teachers too. So when people have kids, if they want to give their kids teachers a special gift
Oh,
for the
right, yeah,
holidays, or if they have friends who are becoming teachers or something, it makes a nice
right.
gift. Yeah.
And I mean, being able to just have a pause during your day, 30 seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but
Right.
I and I know that sometimes you tell people, people will tell you, oh, you just got to chill out for a minute or take a moment for yourself. And then they don't know how, they don't know what to do.
Right.
Because they're always, the doing is a norm. It's like, if you stop doing, well, what do I do?
Right.
So giving
Here's
them
something to do.
something, here's
Mm-hmm.
something to do that will actually help in the long run. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And
Thank you.
do you have courses that you've built around the 30 seconds? Or is that
Um,
the 5 minute?
that's the 5 minute.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
All right.
I do have one new book that I put out in the
Oh, yeah.
Moment series, which is not really about 30 seconds, but this is called A Moment for Meditation. And it has 101 questions to naturally take your meditation deeper. Now, this is a new approach to meditation that came to me. Usually, people are they're meditating, they're trying to get their chatty mind to be quiet. That's the goal. When it gets quiet, then I'm meditating,
Right.
But the problem of getting to be quiet is it's boring or it's difficult, or the mind gets bored with counting breaths or singing om or looking at a candle or whatever it is, and starts to be like, oh, I got to buy toothpaste, tries to come back and get busy again. That's a distractor. All of these things are distracting the mind to make it go over there and do a thing. But I thought, what if I use the curiosity of the mind to deepen meditation? What would that look like? So I came up with 101 questions to ask yourself at like the beginning of your meditation or in the middle if you find your mind is getting chatty again. So a question that brings your mind into the meditative experience with some curiosity, like this. If my thoughts fade away, what is here? And now the mind is like, oh, I need my thoughts to fade away so I can see what's here. And all of a sudden you're going, And so if you do that for a while and now it's quiet because your mind wants it to be quiet to discover what is here, which is exactly what you're supposed to be doing during meditation, is just observing what is happening right now, this awareness experience. And so it doesn't really matter how long you do meditation for. If you're engaged in the process with all of yourself, your meditation is going to be better. And so there's all these different questions. Some of them are variations on that idea, but they're just different words that some are more compelling in different ways.
Right.
Like this, if I choose to engage in this meditation with all of my intention, what emerges? Like, you don't know until you try. And so your mind goes,
Right.
I'm going to try this and see what happens. So I took these questions. There's one on a page and a little explanation at the beginning. Is a very simple book, but a new concept. And so then I took this concept and I made some videos, some meditation videos with nice music and a new question coming in at different intervals. So one video on YouTube has a new question every 2 minutes for 30 minutes, and one has every 4 minutes for 40 minutes. So you can kind of choose. That's another way to use this. And it's me. I voiced the question in a very meditative kind of a way.
Right. No loud yelling during meditations.
No, I wasn't like, so, I just got nice background music and pretty nature scenes and stuff like that. And so I did that. And those are also on Insight Timer, the app.
Oh, yeah. I have Insight Timer.
Oh, well, I have that and the 90-day Peace Project for
wow.
30 days.
90 days for 30 days?
Well, the first 30 days of 90
Oh, okay.
are in the Insight Timer app as well. I'll talk about the 90-day Peace Project. We could talk about it now if you want.
Yeah, sure. Go for it. We're here.
Okay, awesome. This is something that I wrote almost a year ago, and it's called the 90-day Peace Project. And the idea is, it came about because over 2020, when we were all shut down and everything, I took this 45-day meditation class, but with the purpose of establishing basically inner peace. But it was a sense of fundamental well-being is the way they put it. And not so much inner peace maybe, but a sense that everything is okay. Like if and a way of quieting the inner chatty voice in your head till it's just not really relevant, till it's just, you don't even notice it. And if that wasn't there, how much could you just be here and in the flow right now? And I was like, I want that. So I took that class, and it was a really rigorous thing. We had to meditate for an hour and a half a day, following all these different procedures and protocols and making notes, and I'm part of a study and all of this. And I thought it was interesting. And so I took another series of it, another 45 days of that, to see what could happen. And then I took another follow-up program, and I learned a lot of different techniques and things that I thought were good and things that I thought were not helpful, and ways of thinking that shifted for me. And I started studying things like direct inquiry and self-inquiry, and some of the work of Ramana Maharshi, and some other, interesting people, Neville Goddard. And I did what happens in my head after a while, which is, how can I make this easier? I also spent a year writing for this company called Reality Hacker, and they were also doing some work with a daily process, but it wasn't set for 5 minutes a day or whatever. It was just, but similar, and a lot of these same concepts that they were using. And I was like, oh, I could improve on this. So, so I thought, I want to help people not only establish a persistent state of inner peace, but also the benefits that come from being in that state, which is how easy it is to do manifesting from that feeling, from that place, that baseline, how other things start to come into place really easily. Your life flows. You feel less triggered. You feel, like you're connected to things. The coincidences that happen are like all the time, and fun and funny and cool. And like, that's what being in that state gets you. But how do you get there? And also, how can I make this easy for a busy person? So I created I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it threefold. It's going to be a little lesson. And when I say little, I mean like a paragraph, what to read, very small, plus a writing prompt. And a writing prompt is different from a question. A writing prompt is, it gives you the beginning and you write the rest. So like, I just turned to day 3 in the book, and it says, I feel most relaxed when. And then you continue and you write I feel most relaxed when, and you write about that, because now you're turning your attention to the lesson. The lesson here, by the way, on this page says, as I think of what makes me feel relaxed, I imagine that is happening right now. I allow the experience of being fully relaxed to arise fully within me. So you have your lesson, you have your prompt, and then there is a little video that I call an expansion that's like 2 minutes long, where I explain what to do with this concept in your day today. And so I first made that as a video. So I made 90 videos.
Oh my gosh.
Introduction. Yeah, I know. It was a lot. Plus one for introduction. But each day is something that expands on the last day, or reviews it and adds more, or brings something new in, all the way through the 90 days. And so I had to explain how to do it, but I kept everything short so that conceptually you could do this in 5 minutes a day, but then apply the lesson throughout your day at different points. As just reflecting on it, trying that mindset, things like that. So once I put it into it's on my website, ReikiAwakeningAcademy.com. The first 30 days are free completely, the whole thing, every part of that. For all the first 30 days. If you love it, you can continue to the next 60, and then you really get it.
Yeah.
I also took the expansions and put them on Insight Timer. The first 30 days are on Insight Timer, just the expansion, but it's my voice and the explanation of what to do today. And also I made it into a book, which is what I was just reading to you from. So if you don't want to deal with the online and you want to just self-pace yourself, you can read. The expansion is sort of a transcription, but made appropriate for text reading, because it's not always good to translate exactly word for word what's in a video.
No.
I'm a little more rambly, I think, when I'm talking. But so that's in the book. If you wanted to go through the book yourself, you could do it that way. And that's available on Kindle and paperback. And so
when you got through all of that, how did you feel? Through like when you did your 45?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Whoa, my brain blew out. And
well, I mean, tired, accomplished, and actually inspired, because even after I wrote that, I wrote a moment for meditation. It's like I'm always thinking, what else, how else can I help? What else can I do? What else might be interesting? And also what was fun was when I was working on the book, I had to go back and watch all of the videos and type up everything that I said. And even though I used at first, one of those like Google has a voice thing that,
Transcriber, yeah.
yeah, it was always throwing in weird words and missing whole sentences and things. And so I really had to pay attention. So I really had to actually listen to everything and see if I really got it as I was typing it. But as I did, I kept thinking, God, this is good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I just want more people to know about it, because the hardest thing is to show people, hey, look, hi, I have this new thing, take a look at it. That's the hardest thing, is actually, reaching people. And so I'm so grateful to be able to tell your listeners, about this.
And also, I mean, like, I find if I recognize that I have something that helps people, it's like, but I can help you. But it's like trying to get their attention. I get it. It's like, hey, this will help you, and take off your blinders, please, just for a moment. Just experiment. How so? Is the 90 days the inner peace for 5 minutes?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, I getcha.
That's the one.
Whew.
Persistent inner peace. Not just like
Persistent.
peace. I have peace for 5 minutes and the rest of my day I'm just a mess. No, it's not. It's not that. It's something that it lasts. It locks in. Like, it changes your baseline and it locks it and anchors it in, so that you're seeing life from a much calmer and more balanced and more centered place. So stresses that are out here don't grab you and run away like they normally might, because every day you're doing this practice that helps you return, reminds your mind, this is where I want to be, and helps it become more and more familiar.
And I mean, I guess people can't even imagine what that would be like. I think about, the yogis who are super peaceful on their mat, and then they go get into their car and get into traffic and start yelling at people and cutting people off. I'm like, but why can't you take that peacefulness into your driving, my friend?
Yeah. Actually, it's funny about driving. Like, I have found that since I've been working on creating this and developing it, and then transcribing it and listening to it again. And in fact, my VA has been now she added background music. And so we upgraded the videos. So I had to watch each one and make sure they were okay. So I am rewatching these lessons. That when I get into traffic and somebody cuts me off, or something gets a little wonky, I watch people react all mad, but I'm just like, okay, have a nice day. Just go safely. I don't get all like, I don't feel that same thing that other people are obviously feeling. I'm not a bad driver, but sometimes people are, or some there's random
People are in a
things.
hurry and things are
Right.
happening.
And so if they're just like, oh, and I'm just like, whoa, okay, man, off you go. We're okay. And I think, wow, I didn't get all freaked out. Normally I would be like, oh my God, somebody just went at me. And, and all day I'm thinking, oh, what did I do wrong? Oh my God, But that doesn't really happen. It doesn't happen anymore. And one other thing I want to mention really, really surprised me. Okay, so I have children. My children are, my youngest is 16 and my oldest is 23. She doesn't live here, but she visits a lot and she's great. But my son is going to be 19 next month, and like a very difficult age between like 17 and 19, I would say, especially if they're living at home with you. And he's just the extreme of that age, I think, with just, he wants to not tell me where he's going. He wants to just be left alone. His room's a mess. He's like,
It's
all of
trying
it.
to find being a grown up, but you're not quite a grown up
Oh
yet.
gosh, he's not even on training wheels yet, but he wants to be. And so it's just, there's a lot of that. And I had been going through a tough time with just arguments and just the stressors of trying to walk that balanced line with being, you know, cracking down on the rules and the expectations and that, and also giving him some freedom that he needs really bad. And it's just really tough. It's a tough time. Most parents will definitely know that. But in any case, I realized that the more that I worked on myself and the more that I could remain calm, and I had a different, like a better perspective on things. And his response to me started changing as well. He wasn't walking in expecting to be yelled at every, time he'd walk in and see me. Oh, now what? He wasn't giving me that attitude anymore. We started being able to just have a nice, pleasant conversation and joke again, where we hadn't been for a long time because there was always this like stress between us of
Right.
an expectation that I was going to be on his case or whatever. And my expectation that he was ignoring everything I said and trying to get around every rule, that melted away. Yes, the stuff is still there, meaning he's still trying to figure himself out, but there isn't this like air of unpleasant expectation, perhaps,
Right.
that used to be there. And that, I think, is because the more that I feel okay, the more the people around me get into that energy as well.
It is true because, all of your relationships are two-sided, right? You and them. And if you can change how you are in a situation, that person's going to adjust even if they don't realize it, which is a huge, I feel like it's a superpower to bring into the world.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, maybe they don't have the self-awareness or they've never tried it. Because I've been experimenting with it for a long time. So I love that aspect of it because if you come into the situation differently, everything is different. If you can do it, consistency helps, but otherwise, if you just do it once, they just think you're crazy. But, I know that people, during holidays and things, when they're going to their families, they're expecting, oh, Uncle Bob's going to do this, and so is going to do this, and then at 7:00 we'll have a fight about this. I'm like, what if you came into it differently, right? So it'd be so amazing to just bring that to the world.
Oh, absolutely. And I want to also like amplify this by saying that when I was doing my dissertation, I did a research project on gratitude and how gratitude affects the heart rate. Now, this isn't new research. That's not the only thing I was doing. I was just using that research to explore something further, which is that. And this research you can find on heartmath.com. They have a whole lot of research about this because this is what they're about. It's about training yourself to be in a state of gratitude to help mitigate stress and have all the benefits of meditation and more. But you don't have to meditate. You just get into that sense of gratitude, and there's a biofeedback device to help you learn how to do that.
Cool.
Yeah, and I always thought that was cool. And so what I wanted to know is if I can train myself to be in that state, which is called coherence, because gratitude turns into a balance in the autonomic nervous system, which then affects your heart rate and makes it very regular, which then affects the rest of your body and your ability to heal and a whole lot of really great functions like ability to sleep and all of the cool things like that. So I thought I'll train myself to be able to do that. And then I want to see if it affects the people around me. So I devised a series of experiments where people would sit across from me in my office, and we were each wearing one of the little measurement thingy dings that would check your status of your heart rate and coherence levels. And then I would get myself for 5 minutes into a state of coherence, and then for the next 5 minutes intend to include them with me just through my intention, not sending them Reiki or anything. I'm just sitting there feeling that way, but thinking of them being with me. So then I also did this experiment with people at a distance. So I'm in Maryland and I have a friend in Ohio, and I sent her one of the thingies. And so she had people come to her house and get on Zoom with me. And we did the same thing, but over Zoom, because I wanted to know if this would work at a distance. And it did. It worked both ways, so that when I was in a state of coherence, our heart rates would be in sync, up and down as far as how regular they were, but more regular than not. And it happened right at 5 minutes. There was a spike in their coherence levels because that was the moment when I started including them. Though as soon as I sat down and started getting into this state, we started syncing up. And then at 5 minutes, they had a spike in their coherence scores. And then it just continued that way. So whether we were in person or by distance, and they didn't have any instruction except just sit there and think your thoughts. They weren't like, here, feel gratitude. Like they weren't
Right.
supposed to do that. That's just on me.
Yeah.
But what the point of this experiment is that we matter. Like what we are, how we are matters in a physical way to not only ourselves, but those around us and those who we are thinking about, which just illustrates how connected we all are.
Right. Whoa. That's totally cool. One of my movies that I've watched over and over and over again, you must have seen it, is What the Bleep Do We Know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. That's super cool. I'm totally going to look up heart math now too and find you on. If people don't know what Insight Timer is, send me a message and I'll let you know. But that's so amazing. Like, all of this is so valuable, really, really valuable. And I love how prolific you are with all of your books. It's like, you're like, and I wrote this one, and I read this one. That's awesome. I love books. You know, I'm a book junkie. Thank you for spending so much time with us and letting us know all of this amazing stuff. But before you leave, I always ask, well, first we'll tell everybody, you can get in touch with Alice. It's in the show notes. It's everywhere. I can never remember what's above or below to the side. It depends on where you're consuming the podcast. But get into the show notes. Try out the 30 days because I'm going to. I already know I'm going to go and do it. But before you leave, do you have any final words of wisdom for people?
I just always want people to know that you have a lot more power than you might feel like day to day, and coming back to that realization and having evidence of that realization that can then help motivate you to keep doing that thing is really, really could be life-changing. So it's not just like hang in there. It's about try something, even if it's something short, even if it's something easy, but try it and pay attention and notice how it works for you, because there are so many techniques out there that are easy to use but make a huge impact on how you feel and how you see your life and how you relate to stress and your relationships and pretty much every aspect that we're all very enmeshed in as we are traveling this lifestyle, this lifetime.
Zooming around the sun at this time.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That is so awesome. Yeah, it's so true. So true. So thank you so much, Alice, for coming and sharing all your wisdom with us. It was such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Heather. It was great to be back.
Thank you. And my friend out in podcast land, connect with Alice. Find some of that inner peace. My gosh, your life could change for the better like so quickly, and you'll feel so much better.
And let me know.
Yeah.
And reach out to me. I want to know how this is working for you.
Yeah. Leave some comments. Reach out to Alice. Let us know what's going on with you. And take care, my friend. Have an amazing day. Hi, my friend. Thanks so much for listening to this entire podcast. If you found it useful and you're like me and you like helping others, please feel free to share this. Just give it a like. Give it a comment. If you found something useful in it, there's a chance that someone else will find something useful as well. Also, if you have any questions at all, I can absolutely help, and I would love to help. You can email me at heather@prosperityflowcoaching.com. If you want more of this awesome content, you can follow me on Instagram, Heather Stewart Coaching. You can follow me on Facebook, Prosperity Flow Coaching. And I have a personal request. I want to help as many people as I can with these podcasts. And if you could give me a review, hopefully a good one, if you could share, if you could send this out into the world, I would truly appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope that you find your way to wellness by getting back to me. Take care, my friend.